Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Gemstone Legends. Man, it's been a few months since I've last made a video. Took a long extended break, but here I am back into the grind. And I thought it would be a good time to start by showcasing the latest hero that just came out, Zafrina. I actually kind of think she's really cool. So let's dig in, take a look at this hero, her abilities, and why I think she could be pretty special for you in your normal gameplay. Let's check it out.
Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion.
So first things first, she's in the Dark Followers family where there are some of the coolest and the best heroes. You've got Brody, you've got Necros, Vulcan is in there, my character's in there, and of course there is Zafrina. She's an attacker mage. That means she's going to generally have higher output of damage, and her mana replenishes faster, so you can keep activating her skills. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the special ability. You know, the thing here is there's one part of the special ability I think that is a little bit confusing. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So I'll explain the first one. Deals chain true damage to all enemies. At level 1, it's 20% of target's max HP, and at max level, it's 35% of target's max HP, and then it gets lowered by 20%. So there's two parts here. First one is Chain Lightning. This was introduced a while ago. It essentially means you're going to start damaging one opponent. You can actually target who you want, and then it goes from left to right. But then every opponent afterwards is going to have less damage applied to them. And how much it is based on the fact that it says 20% less. And so if it's a 20%, okay, so opponent number 1 will get 20% damage, and then you can see a table here, then it lowers from the next one onwards, goes down to 16, 12.8, 10.24, 8.19, okay? And because it's true damage, that means it doesn't matter how much critical damage you have or how much defense your opponent has, it's going to be the exact same amount. So assume the opponent has 100 health, all of them, then the table is going to show how much damage they'll get. At max level, it goes up to 35%. So again, it's going to be 35%. Then the table shows 28 for the next opponent, 22.4, 17.92, and 14.34. Okay, and again, same thing. If opponent has 100 health, that's how much damage it gets. The difference here is at level 1, it's going to take you 5 tries of acting your ability to be able to take out one opponent, whereas, you know, at max level, it just takes 3 times. It may seem like, oh, you can't just, you know, take out an opponent once, you know, from the very beginning, but this is actually a really strong ability, especially as the opponent has lowered health. So I really like this special ability. I think it's really strong, and I'm going to show you that in action as well. Moving on to the passive ability, again, most of them is really relatively straightforward, but I do need to clarify some things. The first one is when she inflicts poison, this is depending on her actually inflicting the curse status. So from the special ability, she does inflict curse. And then when it says ignores 10% at level 1 and 20% defense, this is not applying to her special ability because it's true damage. This is applying to her gemstone damage. Okay, so at level 1, when you deal damage based on your gemstones, then you can ignore 10%, and then at max level, it'll be 20%. What's actually most critical part of her ability is the fact that she can resurrect herself. At level 1, she resurrects with 30% max HP and then 100% mana. But then by actually level 4 of passive ability, she'll actually resurrect herself with 60% mana at max HP and 100% mana. So as soon as you die and come back, you can activate your skill again. So really, really strong because you can potentially take out those opponents that just have low enough health that you might be able to take them out. So I think this passive ability is really, really good. So you want to make sure to level her to at least level 4 for her passive. Finally, before we jump into attack, I'm going to quickly explain what I think is the best optimal setup for her. So with Zafrina, you want to make sure that she has high accuracy, that's for sure. Okay, so if you look at her awakening ability, when you awaken her, she's going to have accuracy. So by going to 6 stars, you can actually get a 50% additional accuracy. I'm waiting for the purple rift to open up, so I'll be able to max her awakening. But in terms of gears, I think the combination of Hope Set and also the Murderous Frenzy is going to be the most key for her. The reason being, Murderous Frenzy gives you a chance to use the special ability twice. Okay, so with Zafrina, with true damage, really it's as many times as you can activate her skill as possible is going to be key here. Remember, if you can get her special ability high to 35% per hit, you just need to activate it 3 times and you'll be able to take out your opponent. So with Murderous Frenzy, if it goes off, that's already 70%. And then with Hope Set, if you could potentially activate again, then that is going to be a really easy battle for you. So if you take a look at the primary skills, I do have accuracy for her armor. And then this is an interesting one. I chose to go with critical rate for her because even though she doesn't quite need the critical damage, but because she can ignore defense when she's using her gemstone attacks, I thought it would be good just to increase a little bit of damage for that reason. And that's why I also put on a Zeal set, because Zeal will actually increase the damage for her based on every living enemy that's on the board. And I went with speed for her as opposed to health or attack, just because I wanted her to have more chances to go earlier so that she can, again, activate her skill more often by generating more, getting more gemstone matches. So that's pretty much on the primary stat side. And then everything else I think I focused on, I actually try to find more health if I can. Okay, so more health and more accuracy. That's really where I started off. And then so the first sort of, with your weapon, with your helmet and your shield, go for accuracy, go for health. And then I decided to just get her critical rate to 80-ish% so I can at least get some critical hit from her gemstone matches. Critical damage is 124%, but accuracy and health is really where I kind of wanted to have this slow balance. I didn't need her to be super high health, but you do want to make her have good accuracy so you can land her skills. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at her in action. First, we're going to go into the Moon Sisters, and I have this set up so that I can just kind of clear the first couple of waves. So we'll just kind of see what happens here. I wanted to get this set up so I can actually activate her skill right away. This is also how you can set up so that you can speed up the amount of, speed up the number of times you can actually go through this stage. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and see what happens here. We're going to go ahead and activate her skill. So you can see she activates 31. And you see immediately her Murderous Frenzy came into play, and she dealt damage twice, 31,000 each time. This is based on her max health of 104. And right now, my ability takes out 30% of the max HP. So I actually need to actually activate 4 times in order to take her out. But you can see how much damage is already applied. And there's also a poison that I was able to apply. But this is only on the first time that I activate. It didn't trigger based on Murderous Frenzy. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. So that's what it looks like against this boss, and then I can just go ahead and take care of the boss pretty quickly with my remaining heroes here. So that's what it's like with a Rift boss. All right, so one thing I do need to call out, and that is Zafrina is going to be a terrible choice for you to bring into the raid boss. And the reason for that is because they changed the raid boss a while ago, but if you're kind of new, you may not realize that raid bosses have this buff for them where any skills that you apply that deals damage based on max HP or missing HP that has been reduced by 600 times. So you can see Bastia has over 20 million health. All right, and so you would think that if you can use her ability, so my skill level is actually 30% of the target's max HP. But if you take a look at how much damage I actually end up dealing, 10,000. Okay, and so it's not a big amount. It is not 30% of the health of the boss. It is just trimmed down to only 10,000 damage. Now it doesn't change. Okay, but it is not nearly enough damage compared to other heroes that you can bring in for raid boss. So I do not recommend you using Zafrina for raid boss purposes. So I have been using Zafrina in my arena battle for pretty good, with pretty good results. It's good that I'm actually able to go up against an opponent that has Rosalia on the team, because her counterattack is going to trigger when I activate Zafrina's skill, regardless of who I target. So let's go ahead and take a look at this arena fight, see how it goes, and then let's hope for the best. All right, so let's see how we do here. And the first thing first, this is also at a level that is, more, well, I'm in gold 2 now, and so the opponents are getting tougher. And so you can see Vulcan is basically everywhere, and so having to make sure that I take away as much of the green gems from them, that's always, number one priority for me. And so let's go ahead and see here. I'm gonna go and do this. So this way takes away the green gems, and I still don't have the yellow gems to worry about. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. So I'm going to go ahead and activate Zafrina here, and I'm going to activate your skill, and you can see what happens. Even though I attacked, so I actually attacked Vulcan first, and so everyone else got dealt damage, and it's about 30%. Rosalia did not actually activate this time, but I'm going to go ahead and activate again, see if she'll retaliate. She didn't retaliate again, so I'm going to just go ahead and take her out. Well, not quite take her out because I can only deal 30%. So you can see everyone else has about 10% damage, 10% health remaining. But you can see how strong this is just by this, right? Like, had Rosalia retaliated, this would have been, I would have been taken out. But at this point, just, all the poison that has been applied on them means that I will be able to take them out. But I am going to have to silence Gemini, because Gemini is going to be able to resurrect everyone. And so let's go ahead and do just that. Let's go ahead and make sure that we take them out, or silence, and then they should be taken out all at once. And so the combination of putting poison on the opponent and having hope set, murderous frenzy actually turned this. This would have otherwise been a really difficult battle, and in some situations like this one, it actually made it a lot easier than I had expected. Right, like, so I was actually expecting Rosalia to retaliate, take out Zafrina, but then I was counting on her to resurrect and then use her ability again to show you how it's like. But again, this is the reason why I said if you could equip her with, Murderous Frenzy and or Hope Set, it is going to make your battles a lot easier. So give it a try, and you should get good results. I think she's really strong. And one last thing I will say is, she is going to be fantastic against the Yellow Rift boss as well. Okay, it's not available just yet, so I can't quite show you the result, but because those rift bosses don't have that debuff where it reduces your damage by 600 times, so you're going to be able to take out the yellow rift boss a lot easier. Okay, so that is my review of Zafrina. I think she's good. Obviously, there's weaknesses, but in general, I think if you do get her, you're going to enjoy using her. So that's going to be it for me for today, everybody. Let me know what you think. Okay, so take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.